Welcome to the PDR Workshop Podcast. My name is Christopher Ray, and as always, we have Dave O.
What's up, guys?
Joining us today. All right, so this topic, satellite locations, pros and cons. I hear a lot of people talking about how they can set up these little mini satellite locations, and this has been an idea for Dentless Touch for right around 3 years ago, and I just analyzed the pros and the cons, and we end up not doing it, or at least trying it out. And it didn't really work. So I wanted to share with you, again, what the disadvantages and advantages of setting up. So you'll know what to look out for when you set up your first satellite location if you're looking to do so. So before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, Blim Tools, Dentcraft Tools, and Mobile Tech RX. Guys, if you want to support the podcast, please head over to their websites. You got Mobile Tech RX, that's a software-based company. You have Blim Tools. Again, they just sell PDR tools. They've been a pioneer in the industry for the last 25 years. And the same thing with Dentcraft Tools. So head over to their website, and if you see something you like, just go ahead and purchase, and it helps us. Thank you. So let's start with the pros, Dave. We don't want to go too negative, right? Should we end it in on the cons? And
No, we can go ahead. We can do a little recap after.
Okay,
so I
all
think, we had some of the pros that we written down, or the ones that just off the top of my head. Having multiple satellite locations allows you to, look bigger than the company actually is. Some customers like that. They like, knowing that it's not just one person, a couple guys. It's an actual, a whole team out here that there's actually been time and money invested into the company. That this isn't, it's not a fly by night, or,
Right.
There's horror stories with gypsy, repairs and in parking lots and stuff. And, these satellite locations will just allow for that presence of your company to look larger than it really is, which is, a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think it gives you an online presence. It helps with SEO also. And, SEO is search engine optimization. I almost stuttered on that word. but anyway, it helps bring, your main website to, the page one and obviously 1 and 2, and just helps you look bigger, compared to probably your competitors. That's probably the reason why you would do it. And also maybe capture a larger market, right?
Yeah.
That market that you're on the satellite location. It helps with, networking. Maybe that particular shop can facilitate which repair is good, or even will bring your customers in, send you pictures when you're not there, and kind of, like I said, facilitate the entire process for you. And it'll kind of, look like you'll actually get more help and, help you manage your day a little bit better.
Yeah.
And some people just are naturally on one side of the town on half of the week, and then the other side of the town on the other half. So having the 2 satellite location may make sense for that person. Those are, to me, the pros. Is there anything else we can think of?
Yeah, I think that makes complete sense. The having
maybe 2 Instagram accounts if that's what you want to do. So maybe double the social media presence. Maybe that may be something that you have to look into. Signage. Sometimes just having a sign with the satellite location, it probably will come with signage, and so more people are just more kind of familiar with your logo.
Yeah, it's just, and it's making that brand stronger and stronger for the area.
Exactly. And then, a lot of times if you do it with a body shop, you get a constant insurance companies coming in there, and it's just, again, that brand awareness, just seeing that. Let's roll into the cons that I see, because they kind of counter each other on the pros. But again, you're looking bigger, so you're not actually bigger. So that kind of is one of the cons too. So the customer, at least the customer that we're trying to capture, they don't want you to look bigger. They just want you to be bigger. They want you to be the bigger company. And so the bigger company won't have satellite locations. They'll actually have locations. And so when that same customer comes there and says, hey, I want a dent down, I want an estimate, a lot of times they can read through just the guy that's there just trying to wing it, or depending on how it's set up, it's like, oh, you have to call them for an appointment. And so that's going to put a bad taste in that customer's mouth.
Yeah.
And this is just what we notice. Also, the cons is with that extra presence becomes extra work too. So that's another social media page you have to manage. That's another My Business you have to manage. And that becomes a lot of time outside of doing the repairs, especially if you have 3 or 4 satellite locations up and running.
Yeah.
It becomes pretty much a nightmare and to me a headache.
Yeah.
Because main thing I think the Google My Business just doesn't do well with satellite locations. There's no options to have your hours, but put in appointment only. And so if I look at someone's hours, I mean they're open, and I'm going there just to get a quick estimate, and you're not there. Well, what's going on here? And then you see this nice satellite location. You're like, well, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because it's just not norm. It's not a normal thing. You're not like, Geico, which will have a satellite location, but their satellite locations have people sitting there. So it's like a
that's definitely difficult if you're by yourself or there's only a couple of you guys having multiple satellite locations, but it's going to be up to you to really dive into the pros and cons to see if this works for you and what's going to be the overall goal. Why would I have some sort of affiliate or satellite location, and all it's going to do is just going to allow you to tap into potential different sources of traffic and revenue that you normally maybe wouldn't get to your main location or something like that. So it's going to just expand your area, allow customers to possibly go to these other locations that are more convenient for them. But if you're not able to like you said, sit there or not have someone there is a pro and con to having these.
Right. And so if you're gonna go to Google My Businesses, just be selective of who actually managed that. If you're in with the body shop manager and he's able to educate his staff of how to handle your customers that come in and they're willing to do it, then I think 1, maybe 2 satellite locations, depending on how your schedule works, is probably manageable and probably very beneficial. It's just when you start having people come in and you're not mobile, that becomes a headache because it's all about customer relations and their experience, and that experience starts to deteriorate once you're just not there or you're late or whatever the case may be. But if you're a type of person that spends Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on one side of town and then the Thursday, Friday on the other side of town, well that and you don't advertise maybe any of those satellite locations. Maybe you just have 2 locations. You can say, well, sir, I'm in your area. Here's the location. It's a satellite location. So you'll see, Johnny's Auto Body, but we work right inside of Johnny Auto Body. That's one of our satellite locations. That's fine. But when you're trying to brand 2 different locations, that becomes a little bit of a headache, and it really will deteriorate your customer experience. At least I feel as though, and it'd be a quality issue. It becomes a mess, especially 1 or 2 man show. That's our pros and cons. That's our method to help you out if you're thinking about satellite locations. Dave, do you want to elaborate any more on any of this?
No, I mean, we've talked about retail locations, how to set that up, and even how to get a location for just a pop-up hailstorm. So, this is just another avenue for a business that's, possibly looking to expand or, just look for another avenue of revenue or something like that. And a satellite location could possibly be someone, a good option for someone. Yeah,
it just has to be the right fit. The person that you're setting up the shop at, or where you're setting up that shop at, just has to be the perfect fit. Because Google's not going to do it for you. That's pretty straightforward there. Again, want to thank our sponsors, Mobile Tech RX, Blim Tools, and Dentcraft Tool Guys. I appreciate the support. We appreciate the support. I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. See you next time, guys.
See ya.
Peace.